something else I was playing that stuff that's got hairs on it. Hairs is
with a Z.
It's what is
if you don't pet the kitty enough, sometimes.
Sturmovik FlightSim.
Whoa,
it's like
that is such a PC game.
But it's like it's kind of like you fit. Like I can fit in wherever I go. So it's like if I'm at eGym, then play all the console games. And then obviously if you work for a PC based gaming magazine, you want to fill in the gaps, and so you don't just play Battlefield and talk about Battlefield all the time. So I've been playing a flight sim with the hardcore $200 flight stick. I've got like the throttle controller split on the side. I am short. I would use it if I had it. There's like basically a motion sensing dot you put on your head, and that way, because you look around independently of the cockpit, like a real pilot would.
How does just like an old Yankovic
Haven't you seen that before? The motion sensing dot.
So
it's a Logitech peripheral.
Dude, if that was a Wii device or something, I mean, you guys would be like, no, they're innovating to the degrees that other companies rarely do.
I wouldn't say that.
I would say it. I just did, dude.
How does the dot work?
Okay, so basically, like, it just senses that if you move your head, obviously you're not going to turn and look behind your real shoulder. You're not looking at the screen, but you move your head about like a quarter inch to the left.
So is it camera-based?
And your camera, and your head in the cockpit, your camera will look out the window. And basically, in dogfighting, that's how it works. I mean, it was all visual-based in World War II, so you'd have to look up out of the top of your canopy, turn over if you wanted to see, behind you, whatever.
So it has a USB camera pointed at you that detects where the dot is.
That detects where the dot is and just it connects it, yeah.
Right.
But so anyway, it's a really hardcore game. And I said before, you're thinking this is like the last kind of thing you want to do. And another game like this came out, Silent Hunter Wolves of the Pacific came out, and I actually bought that. And so I read
that's a submarine adventure.
It is,
right?
man. I read the manual on the way home though, and I totally had second thoughts when I was reading it. And basically, to get a torpedo hit on something, you have to like perform a trig problem. I mean, you have to like.
Oh my god!
So you see a boat, and you're like, okay, you have to get in the virtual manual and identify it. And the reason you do this is because in real life, naval combat, you'll say, oh, the highest point of that vessel is whatever 200 something yards, and that tells you. Then you can perform an equation to see how far away from you it is, and then you do all these other things. There's like a billion dials you turn and machines that help you calculate.
It's like a starburst on the box, like all the math of real warfare.
But I didn't. Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. Like basically,
none of
like
fun.
Submarine crews are like math warriors. Like they would wreck your shit with math. Like they would get out there
to hunt for Red October.
the faster they are too, because whatever if you're chasing a target, every move it makes is gonna mess up your math, your solution. So you want to like solve that shit as fast as you can.
It's like Number Munchers evolved.
Anyway, so the game I play isn't quite that bad, and I'll say like it ended up becoming really rewarding in the way that by the time you're done pushing all these knobs and levers and stuff, and you take off, you're like, it's not like you just got in and pressed X in Warhawk, or in Battlefield. You're like, I actually did something, dude. Even though you didn't do anything,
just to get the submarine started. Right?
I incriminated myself on the one-up show, but in my mind, I did something, and so it was pretty fun. You get used to it. I'm like doing all kinds of stuff, but then what hit me is, of course, you always, if I play any game long enough, I reach this point of boredom, and then that's when you start messing shit up. And okay, the thing about grief in a game,
this point was probably pretty early, I'm gussing, on in this submarine math.
I think it
adventure.
started when me and a friend were playing, co-op, and we started flying this plane called the TB3, and it was basically the Russians decided, this is so random, but I promise I can make it entertaining. I can make anything entertaining. And it was called the Flying Circus because they would put smaller parasite planes under the wings of the large one, and this whole contraption would get into the air, and ultimately it was a solution for long-range fighter escorts. Save you the story. I mean, if you make a plane that can fly a certain distance, it's ultimately not that maneuverable. So this way they don't really have to do it. But anyway, we just use it. We call it like Operation Dumbo Drop, and just use it to like, tell people, get in, dude. Joe, we'll do co-op. You go in, you get in one of those, and then you just point them at a mountain and let them go or something. But later, you're like,
what's the audience of people that you're grieving?
So, but here's
somebody's
the thing.
Just sitting in a little drone plane for like 10 minutes while you...
And again, it's real time. And it might take you like 20 freaking minutes to get anywhere near like the battlefield or something, And then, or we start shooting down the one in front of us, and you see them yelling, and the parts are flying out the plane, and then they'll do their Dumbo drops, but they don't have enough speed, and they'll just kind of go down to the ground, and we'll fly over and drop some bombs on them. And then like...
Do you have the patience?
Here's the thing. No one... And I only did this once, so like, okay... Actually, I was thinking about more, but people that play this game, it's not your usual. In the same way that when I said, combat flight sim, everyone in the room was like, "Let's talk about cats some more." It's a lot of like retired Army and retired Air Force military dudes, right?
You're fucking griefing the nation's finest.
So yeah, dude. So you can't like go in. It's not like the Xbox Live kid that wants his mom to bring him his like freaking chocolate milk, the little spoiled.
My hot pocket done.
And you go in there, and there's like, and it might take 10 minutes to get the game going. And ideally, what I was considering, I didn't do it. It would be fairly easy. But you go in and you get all these guys. You get like 32 of you in, and you're in a mission that's like a flight deck based thing, or so you're all in the same carrier group. You start off in a big giant clump, and you got to take your turns taxiing and taking off.
Wait, and really?
Yeah, you do. I mean, you put down the wings. You got to remove the chocks from underneath the wheels of the plane. Make sure that your landing hooks, not going to snag on anything. Get the pitch up and on the prop, the mixture of fuel and stuff. But then, meanwhile, they're all doing this, and they're like, good hunting, guys. Like, you're going to lead and something, whatever. I'm imagining they're saying this, and I'm like, fuck that, dude. I hit the bomb, dropped the bomb on the deck, and just tear off like the entire back quarter of the carrier to start the whole thing.
I call that espionage, bitches.
But I imagine peak playing times for this game as opposed to like just after school or like 7 p.m.
Like 4 in the afternoon before supper.
Oh no, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. When they're all up, they've been up for like 3 hours. Old people sleep for like 4 hours between like 11 and 3 a.m.
That is true. Yeah,
it probably peaks right around 5 a.m. Pacific time.
In the lobby and the chat lobbies are all. I mean, that's something fun about games. I'll end it up and let you guys talk. But like in every game online you play, it's different chat. Whatever's going on. In a lot of RTSs, like in Company Heroes, like it's inevitably about either what the best weapon in World War II was, or whether or not Hitler was right. God forbid, but they actually talk about this, or like politics and stuff. But in this game, it's like dudes talking about how to get like the right kind of grease stains for their models and stuff. Like
wow,
in the chat.
A lot of VFW, yeah.
So that's what's happening in the world of PC gaming this week. Wow.
Earl Yankoman. I just want to know, what was the guy's name again?
Who?
The guy on the box.
Name it was on the box. It's
Oleg Maddox.
What?
Oleg Maddox.
Oleg Maddox. Okay. Yeah. Oleg Maddox is all right. I just gotta.
You look at us like we should know what that is.
Well, it's
like,
funny I was just
Oleg Maddox. Hello.
And that's it. That's like this Russian dude who's been basically chasing the same dream of like making the ultimate flight sim, combat World War II flight sim his whole life. He's chasing it.
Good old Oleg.
He's still after it.